So, like Saturday, what is today? No, today's Saturday. Yesterday, at the end of our shift at Walmart, we had a big meeting, a big row, a motivational row about how, I don't know how motivational it was. It's like we're the worst in our market as far as online grocery shopping, apparently. We're very slow. We're very slow at picking up the groceries for the people.
Are they regretting hiring the 350-pound Chilean personal shopper?
Well, this is the bad thing. When I'm in the lead, baby.
You're in the lead?
I'm leading the pack. What are you talking about?
You're their Elway.
I'm the elite shopper. They're going to put me overseas so I can train other people how to be a fat shopper as well. But when we got hired on, they told me, the HR lady's like, sometimes we do the Walmart cheer, with and I've seen it like in TV shows and movies like that, get together and chant and cheer. I was like, oh my God. Well, at the end of the meeting yesterday, they're like, would it help y'all if we did the Walmart cheer? And it was like, give me a W, give me an A, give me an L.
God.
And then I was like, hey, you know what? We could use that at BGS Studios. Things have been tough here lately. We haven't been able to see each other, haven't been able to play games. So what if we do a cheer, Jerry?
Yeah, do it. Just do it.
Okay. What are we? Board game snobs. Okay, I got to remember who we are. Give me a board.
Hey.
Give me a game.
Something that the Dice Tower doesn't approve of.
Give me the snobs.
This is not working. I'm clinically depressed.
What do we do?
Oh, I don't.
Okay, yeah, this isn't working.
Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
Go.
Welcome, everybody, one and all of you, and all of y'all, to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
Remember that?
All y'all.
Andre 3000. Ice cold. My favorite part of that music video. Yeah, my favorite part of that music video that I rewound was that British announcer, like when he's calling them on stage. He just does the greatest intros. He's like, an ice cold 3000. I mean, he just everything about him was perfect. And that's why we paid a British guy $5 to do our intro.
Because they sound professional and sophisticated, except for Dan Hughes.
Yeah, to American ears, anybody British sounds like they know what they're talking about. Like you can mop up in America. Yeah, America. If you're British. Well, no, I take that back. That one guy kind of ruined it for it. Not who's Simon Cowell's buddy?
The guy that replaced Bones McCoy.
Yeah, what was his name? He went on the news for a while and he was awful. He replaced the guy with the suspenders.
Yes. I don't know, but I know. I don't know, but I know who you're talking about.
I'll look him up.
Okay, well, but see, the thing that threw me off with the Andre 3000 song was, for years, to develop my Polaroid pictures, I shook them. Apparently, that's a big no-no.
You shouldn't shake them like a Polaroid picture.
You're not supposed to shake your Polaroid pictures.
It doesn't do anything. Like, it doesn't help.
Exactly. In fact, I think it can smear, like, some of the ink or whatever. But, like, yeah. Sade has a couple of Polaroid picture cameras, and you're not supposed to shake them. But I said, Andre 3000 said to do so.
But that wouldn't make it Piers Morgan. Piers
Morgan, yes.
It's like, yeah. Piers, yeah. What was that? Piers Import? What was that store?
Pier 101.
Pier 1 Import.
Pier
1 Imports. Yeah. There was Piers Morgan and Pier 1 Import, and we imported him, and then we didn't like him, and then we sent him back.
His peers don't like him either.
I guess. He's back in Britain. So he kind of ruined it for British people for a while.
Peers pressure.
Now, we like... Couldn't handle the peer pressure.
Couldn't handle it.
We like the three guys the Top Gear guys. We love them.
Oh, I actually watched like the first episode of that is on Amazon, which is actually like season 13, apparently. I was like, hey, I've heard of this show. Everybody talks about this show. Let me check it out. Yeah, it's good. It's entertaining.
Yeah, it's just
They talked about veterinarians committing suicide. It was very interesting.
Veterinarians committing suicide.
Apparently, who's the main guy? Clarkson? Is that Jeremy Clarkson or something?
Yeah, Jeremy Clarkson.
He was like
mildly racist.
I don't know. I don't know. Apparently so. Yeah, I was doing all the Wikipedia stuff on it. Yeah, apparently it got canceled for a reason. But like the first episode, he randomly brings up how veterinarians, like people who not people who fight in wars, but people who work on animals.
Yeah, how come they don't call doctors that treat soldiers veterinarians?
But vets. Never. Because he said, "Did we have any vets in the house?" And I was expecting like some soldiers to raise their hands, but apparently it was people that work on animals, and like they were randomly talking about how, I guess at that time, I don't know if in England or what, but he said veterinarians have like the highest suicide rate. And then they were like making jokes about going around killing animals. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting. I can see why Jerry likes this show. It's dark.
Why would they have the highest suicide rate?
I don't know. Maybe people that love animals and... Oh, well, that's what he was saying. It's like you go into the field expecting to help animals, but most of your field is putting them to sleep, killing them.
Right. I think that's the truth, though, with most people in the medical field. Like, even in America, when you go into it thinking it's one thing, and then you end up doing the most mundane thing is 90% of the work. Like, when I first got on the fire department, that was all that we did. 90% of our calls was just helping overweight people stand up. That's it. They fell. They can't get up.
Hey, were you at Walmart quite a bit?
No, the casino actually.
Oh, okay.
That was the place. People go there, they smoke, and then they can't get. They fall down.
Because my people, the overweight people, like to use the scooters oftentimes at Walmart as well.
Yeah, but you're losing weight. You're putting the pressure on old Dan Hughes.
I've done told you, Dan gave up a long time ago. The contest is over.
I know, but it's not enough.
Now the co-host of Sporadically Bored, but they haven't called me for some reason.
It's not that you beat him. You have to really knock him into the ground. What is your current weight now?
I'm still at 315. I've hit the 50-pound loss mark, and I have yet to make any progress.
Well, when you get sub 300, that's when we're really going to start talking smack.
Oh yeah, I'll be super sexy then.
Yeah. Because you'll no longer be fat. After you get below 300, you're good.
So 300 is the fat mark.
Yeah, you might feel fat, but you're not.
I am fat. I felt my wife feels fat all the time when she hugs me.
That's a dark joke. This is a podcast about board games, by the way.
Hey, I had a did you know? I had a did you know? Some time ago when we discussed things they left out of historical movies that were actually true, and we discussed how gladiators actually were promoted products, but they took that out of Gladiator the movie. It says Bridge of Spies left out Project Acoustic Kitty.
Oh, I know about the Acoustic Kitty.
A CIA plot to spy on the Soviets with cats.
And that sounds crazy, but there was some veterinarian that was. And if people don't know what Acoustic Kitty was, it was the CIA's plan to wire up cats to be able to put listening devices inside of cats and then let cats go into buildings.
It says the CIA spent $20 million to get their Frankenkitty operational. And on its first mission, it was run over by a taxi. Before it could reach its target. I believe James Bond covered this with Pussy Galore, right?
Mm-hmm. He did.
Yeah.
He did. She was rigged.
Where was the camera?
Oh, my. Oh, Sean Connery. I want to know. I wish they would oust who was in charge of some of the bad ideas that come up in movies. Because that's one guy. That's one guy who said, hey, my job is to name the Bond girls. And they all have to be something, some
innuendo.
Yeah, an innuendo of some sort. And he come up with that and are like, hey, Daryl, that's kind of on the nose. He's like, no, man, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Trust me. Ian said it's good.
Got to work. It's got to work brilliantly.
Yeah. And then they, to have to utter that woman should have got an Oscar. To have to introduce herself that way. I mean, nobody should have kept a straight face. And there are a lot of other Bond girls. It's awful.
Oh, yeah.
That is to me the worst thing.
I mean, when your last name is
Bond.
apparently on a top, yeah, come on.
That to me is the worst thing about James Bond, right next to the blatant masculinity and violence and all that. But other than the venereal diseases that he must
Daniel
pass around.
Craig was keeping it real with his.
He did. He kept it real.
They reversed it. He came out of the ocean sexy in his first movie.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
And sexy he was.
He was. He's gotten old quickly.
He can Daniel my Craig anytime.
Speaking of movies, which I just completed a film.
You complete me.
I know. This one is a film, a 1993 film. It's a family comedy starring John Candy. You know it. You love it. Cool Runnings.
Oh, yeah.
My wife wanted to watch that, and we did with the kids. And I told her that this is one of my most watched films. Like, I had watched Cool Runnings over and over, the Jamaican bobsled team. Mm-hmm. And there's something about that show that's just great.
It's happiness.
It's
happiness in a movie.
Yeah, it's just on the nose. And I like it because in sports shows where they always win, that always like kills it for me. But I like these sports shows where they don't. Like they try their best. They don't make it, and then they're like, "Well, we did what we could." It's like Friday Night Lights. Mm-hmm. We did what we could. We didn't get a gold medal, but you know what? We had a fun time. We got close. We got close, guys.
That's where I got one of my all-time karaoke hits. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. It was sung by Jimmy Cliff in that version, but I don't know who originally sang it. I think it was somebody else.
Wow.
You heard
Jimmy
that song?
Cliff. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know that song. Because that was the opening song to one of my other favorite movies, Grosse Point Blank. That song opens with John Cusack killing a man on a bicycle. Yeah. So, anyways, let's get off that topic. That got dark.
Another Did You Know? 13 Days. Back to Kai and Have It Yad. Remember that? Kevin Costner doing a Bostonian accent.
He did all right.
No, he did not, Jerry. No.
It's a co. Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
It says they left out where John F. Kennedy personally purchased 1,000 Cuban cigars before putting a U.S. embargo against Cuba in effect.
Well, that's something that's like benefit of a crown. You got to pull off something like that.
I need my cigars. Who's he going to send in? I know who he should send in to Cuba to get his 1,000 cigars. No, wait. Yeah, 1,000 Cuban cigars.
Who?
Well, if you've seen Fate of the Furious, Xander Cage, a.k.a. Dominic Toretto, is in Cuba racing cars. Mm-hmm. Xander Cage is a spy for the United States of America. So John F. Kennedy should send in Xander Cage.
That was a stretch. That was a real stretch, and I have not watched Triple X in so long. I don't even remember it. I think I watched it once and realized this was not.
I live for this stuff.
Yeah, I just can't. I cannot
There's
handle
nothing
that
like
type
fresh
of
powder.
I can't handle that type of dialogue in a movie. It kills me.
There are so many glorious quotes from Triple X. How dare you?
Oh, yeah. The things I'm going to do for my
Yes! That's a good one, see? And you knew it. You knew
I knew it. And I feel degraded. I felt dirty just saying that. Go ahead. I'm going to move on. You posted just an hour ago in our Facebook group.
Yes.
Ask us anything because we didn't have a topic for today. Which I don't know why you're panicked about us not having a topic because here we are.
It's just been a while since we've engaged our audience, and I wanted them to feel included as well.
All right. Well, I'll go through this for you then.
Power through them.
Michael Tanoy Vanoy asks, what celebrity would you most like to meet?
Huh?
What celebrity would you like to meet and why?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you. He's posing this question to us, but I'm posing it to you.
Do dead celebrities count?
Yes.
Well, Sir Sean. Who else?
Okay. No, all right. Do a living one. Do one dead one, do one living.
Mark Hamill.
That's a good one.
Yes.
I think he would be pleasant. Mark Hamill would be pleasant.
He seems to be a very nice guy. He's very open. He's not like these celebrities that... You have two types of celebrities. Either one, they're a jerk, or two, they don't like anything they've ever done. Like Shia LaBeouf. Transformers made him.
Weird.
Accept it.
He's weird.
Mark Hamill,
yeah.
Or even William Shatner. It's like he hated being Captain Kirk forever. But Mark Hamill... He may have went through that phase for a little bit, but like he now embraces everything. And he does the voice for the Joker, and he was also very upset about how the previous Star Wars movies, the last few Star Wars movies turned out. And I think I just like him on Twitter. He's a cool dude, seems like. I'd like to meet him. But of all time, I'd like to meet Sean.
Now, I think it's interesting when he said celebrity, you automatically assumed like movie star.
Well, yeah, so, that's how I go too. I mean, other than that, Kim Kardashian. What are you talking about? Paris Hilton.
Well, I mean, like to me, celebrity. Like when here was my thought process when he said, "What celebrity would you most like to meet?" My first thought was like I would ask like Neil Armstrong or somebody of that nature. Like I would like to meet like.
Well,
Neil Armstrong,
okay. Well,
or
it
Einstein.
shows the difference between me and you. When I think celebrity, I'm about movies and TV.
Well, I'm going to say that, okay, barring Einstein and people like that, I'm going to say that he meant movie celebrity, movie star. And I would really like to go to tea with Daniel Day-Lewis. And just listen.
I think that would be exhausting.
I know, and I would just sit and listen to him.
Christian Bale. You might as well have tea with Christian Bale at the same time because they're the same type of person. There's these method actors that get super involved, and I mean they're like clearly the top of their game. So I can't fault them for the way they go at their acting, but they just don't seem like much fun, if you ask me.
I'm not looking for fun. I'm looking for insight.
You're not looking for a good time. Are you going to ask for
tips?
Time. Any hot tips, guys?
Any hot tips? How do I break into this? No. But I just think it would be incredibly interesting to hear his insights into the art of acting. Because I know I watch a lot of movies and things of that nature and think this is interesting to me, but I have no clue what it takes to be an actor. I wouldn't want to be an actor. And I just believe there to be more of an art to it than what I think that there is. Not that I'm saying that I think, oh, anybody can be an actor. There's something to it that I lack, that I don't understand, and I think he would be the guy to put it out there. Corey Hockman, I hope I pronounced that right. Hockman is Beyond the Sun on your to play radar? Because it should be. Beyond the Sun is the Rio Grande game.
It's beyond my radar. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's no name designer. First game came out. It's a worker placement, tech trees. It looks actually very interesting, and yes, it very much is on my radar. And it's one that I've not been excited about a game this year, but looking at it, I have been very excited about Beyond the Sun, and I'm probably going to pursue it. Again, Michael Vanoy the Tanoy says, should we all refer to Jerry?
If you go Beyond the Sun, you go back in time to 1984 and you save the whales.
No, if you go Beyond the Sun, you find the black hole sun, and that's where
don't you know?
Don't you know? Michael Vanoy Tanoy says, should we all refer to Jerry as Daddy? And the answer to that is yes. Who is your daddy, and what does he do?
True Lies. Solid.
No. Oh, yeah. No. Oh, True Lies was a good show.
Who is your daddy? What does he do? No,
What is
wait.
your
What is that
favorite
off
movie?
of? Really?
Kindergarten Cop. He was asking the kid.
Okay. So it was an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. I just got the wrong one. I was getting it confused with when he's got his voice on recorder and he's asking Jamie Lee Curtis all these questions, you know?
Yeah, with his buddy Tom Arnold.
Yes.
The last thing and the only thing Tom Arnold has ever done for us, besides the comedy with Tim Curry, get ready, McHale's Navy. And if you know what McHale's Navy is, you've got a problem.
Ernest Borgnine.
Pretty much. What is your favorite Gutenberg movie? Well, it's obviously Short Circuit.
Cocoon Returns.
That is a solid choice. I don't particularly. I mean, Police Academy was okay. I actually had some Police Academy action figures, but Short Circuit.
Short Circuit. We named the dog Indiana.
Genre number 5. That's a great idea. I need to let the kids watch Short. I can't say that.
Circuit. Yeah, I got a real Short Circuit there, lassie.
I'm gonna have to let the kids watch
Number 5 is Alive. I have not seen those movies probably since the 80s. However, Cocoon and Cocoon Returns are solid movies. Also starring Wilford Brimley, no axe to the chest.
Oh yeah, Wilford Brimley's great.
Sans axe
on
Sans
saxophone. Short Circuit. It cracks me up. I remember being a kid. Like I think that when did that show come out? Hang on a second. Let me look that up.
It had to be. I mean, saying 80s is generic. I don't know.
Had to be 80s.
I mean,
had to be 80s.
Okay.
86.
Is that 1 or 2?
No, that was 1. 86. Oh Lord! It has a 59% on Rotten Tomatoes. What is wrong with you people?
It's not a good movie, Jerry.
Oh, it's a wonderful show.
Short Circuit 2, 88. 38% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I just remember the joke that Gutenberg told Johnny Number 5 to get him to laugh. They were testing to see if he was alive, and he told him that joke about all the preachers that had all this money, and that one says we should give it to God, and they said, "Well, draw a circle and throw the money up the air, and any of the money that lands in the circle, we'll give that to God." And the guy says, "No, we'll throw it up in the air, and any of the money that lands outside the circle, we'll give to God." And the other guy says, "No, we'll throw it up in the air, and what God wants, He'll keep." And that was the joke that made Johnny Number 5 laugh. And I remember watching that and thinking that must be a great joke. And I told that exact joke at like a party, like years later as a young kid, thinking this is gonna slay, and it didn't. And I felt lied to. And I know I delivered that line perfectly.
Sure you did.
Gutenberg, you let me down, man.
Cocoon and Cocoon Returns, though. Just saying.
I'll give you that.
Check it out.
I'll give you that. Again, Michael Vanoy, the Tanoy, keeps asking questions.
Does no one else ask questions?
What is wrong with him? Does he have nothing else to do? He says, "What is your favorite color?" What is
your favorite color?
What is the best thing that is local to you? Restaurant, amusement park, or some hidden gem?
Walmart. Walmart.com.
No. You go ahead with that. Y'all have got the Eiffel Tower there in Paris, Texas.
Yeah, we have the Paris, Texas Eiffel Tower with a little cowboy hat on top of it. It's not that big, and it's kind of disappointing if you're expecting much. Our biggest thing we have here is probably Chili's. Am I right?
I think he's talking about. I think he's talking about other things. Like, is there any?
I would say the closest thing to us, besides going to Dallas, would be Beaver's Bend State Park in Oklahoma. That's where everybody goes.
Oh, Beaver's Bend. That's a great idea, because Beaver's Bend has two things. Number one, it has the Grateful Head. I said that right.
Yes.
Not the Grateful Dead. The Grateful Head, which is some of the best pizza in all of the land. It's like a
which in Oklahoma doesn't require a whole lot.
It doesn't. But, I mean, it's really good. But they have bands there, and that's where the river is. And it's also in McCurtain County. And if you happen to be, and I don't know how to say this delicately, If you happen to be a person who partakes in smoking herbs and spices,
yes,
everybody knows McCurtain County because McCurtain County sells McCurtain County Gold. That is where it's manufactured, and McCurtain County Gold is a certain type of weed.
it's
I
not.
guess we'll
It's
call
not
it.
gold at all. Yeah,
No,
cannabis.
It's a cannabis that apparently is amazing and has been known even before it was legal. As being the place.
Is it legal now?
For healthcare purposes, yes. That's why I have glaucoma.
So you got you get that doctor that's like, oh yeah, you get glaucoma, you get glaucoma, you get glaucoma.
The fun fact: up in New York City, outside, just a few blocks from the Brooklyn Bridge, saw a guy wearing a baseball cap. I'm sorry, a shirt that said McCurtain County Gold.
Wow.
Like, it is a known thing in that community. But anyways, so yeah, best weed in the States, apparently.
Okay, any questions from other people other than Michael Vanoy?
Yes. This is from Jim Crimmings. Crimmings. It's not Cummings, it's Crimmings.
Crimmins.
Best whiskey or adult beverage you've had in quarantine.
Brown chicken, brown cow. Oh, yeah.
I'm really
Sex
liking,
on the beach, fuzzy navel.
there's
Although
been
fuzzy
two-
navel's not that erotic, actually.
It depends on who you ask.
Maybe that's the way you like it.
Mike Delisio likes toe jam.
And how's that drink made, Jerry?
Well, a little bit of Jägermeister.
Stirred with the big toe?
Yeah, start with your big toe. That's how he makes his martinis, his dirty martinis. Just start with my big toe.
This was a good martini, then it turned into a dirty martini.
Is this a hair? Two drinks that I've come across just in purchasing alcohol here during the quarantine, and I hope this counts. One of my favorite gins, which is Prairie Gin, which you've probably seen pictures of it on the Instagram. If you have our Instagram, I'm a big gin drinker, and this is one of my favorites, and it's surprisingly affordable. And another one is a whiskey called Kilburn, which it has a very nice smoky flavor to it, and it's not very smooth though, but it makes you feel like you're drinking a manly drink. And yeah, you need that sometimes. Let's see. Thoughts on Inish from Kyle Miller. I love Inish.
We played
I don't own it.
I played it with Jerry online. It took me a while to get it. I could see the hubbub about it, but I would need to play it like a real game in life with other folks. I don't know. It just it didn't hit me on TTS.
Word on the street is there's going to be another reprint of it soon. Kyle Miller also asks, grits or hash browns?
Hash browns.
Hash browns, yeah. Mason Pierce asks, would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? So here's the thing.
Wait.
I used to have
one horse-sized duck.
Yeah, a duck the size of a horse or 100
duck-sized horses. Oh.
I'm going to fight
take
the horses.
The horse-sized duck.
No, I'm not. No. Have you ever owned a duck?
Yes.
Okay. They're violent. They get violent. And no, I would not fight a horse-sized duck. You're wanting to be billed to death. They have no heart. They will kill you indiscriminately. I'd rather fight 100 duck-sized horses. What themes have yet to be properly explored from Christopher Blaze? I don't know how you say his name. Sounds like he's fishing for ideas. I'm keeping my themes to myself. I will say this, and I have griped about this for some time. There has not been a good, there's been a decent paramedic game, which is that Paramedic Clear, which is this frantic kind of card game that got no attention. I actually really enjoyed that game. Yeah, real time. Actually enjoyed that game. There is no game that captures the feeling of the stress and the decisions and everything that's balled up into that job.
Same with personal shopping, because people are waiting for their groceries to be delivered, and they get very upset when they're not on time.
I guarantee you that if they made a game about paramedics and they made a game about personal shoppers, that personal shopper game would probably be the next Splendor. It's something that people can relate to. They're
in parking lot 2, spot number 3, and they're expecting eggs, milk, and sugar. You need to go get that and get that ready out to them in time.
I forgot the Sunny D.
That's not a bad game. I mean, that's a set collection and pick up and deliver. Bam! Walmart the game.
You can't call it that. You'll have to call it Mallwart.
Oh, Paul Blart?
Something like that. Paul Blart.
Paul Blart.
That would be good. And you could have all of each game you got to pick who your personal shopper was going to be, and all the artwork could basically be just variations of Enrique. Here's Enrique with a mustache. Here's Enrique with no mustache. Here's Enrique with sleeves.
But actually, it tends to be we have we come in shifts. There's like a 5 to 2 shift, 6 to 3 shift, and then like an 8 to 5 shift. I'm the only guy on my shift. Most of it tends to be younger people, much skinnier than me, so their feet don't hurt them. I'm like the only one wearing the big, huge, like dad shoes, New Balance. Everybody else is wearing like their cool Converse. I'm like, how do your feet not hurt? They're like, because we're not morbidly obese. Then I go on break and eat me a Subway sandwich, and I wonder what's going on. There's a Subway right there. I can't help not eating a Subway sandwich.
They're good. But what do you get?
It's called Kummerspeck. You know what that is?
That sounds nasty. Go ahead.
It's the German word for the weight you put on from emotional eating.
Oh, I thought that was a sandwich. I thought we were still talking about sandwich. I just asked you what kind of sandwich, and you said Kummerspeck.
Give me
and I'm
the
like,
Kummerspeck.
Does that have dill pickles? What is that?
What's the deal with the pickles? I don't know.
Kummerspeck. Ryan Maxwell says,
Ryan,
if you were going
most
to
things
make...
in here don't react well to bullets.
If you were going to make a worker placement game in the Star Wars universe, what would be the theme and the objective? What's people fishing for our board game ideas? Obviously, with Star Wars, a worker placement game doesn't sound like that would be a good match for that.
I would tell you what I thought about.
Go ahead.
It would have to be Ewok related, and basically a Stone Age version, but with the Ewoks building their houses in the trees.
Just re-theme Stone Age and call it Indoor.
Return of Endor.
Return of Endor. That would be an Ewoker placement game.
Hey, it took me a second, but that's not too bad.
I know. I was expecting more out of you there.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, I would say that's a stretch.
Okay, that's okay. You left it. You dropped the ball there. But the theme of something, I would say,
Walker.
like
No, dadgummit. I was thinking like Christopher Walken placement game. Wow, these Ewoks coming in to Endor.
And the first player token's a cowbell. the theme of that would have
a patent. TM in a circle. You cannot steal these ideas.
Yeah. Ryan, if I see you designing a game and has any of these elements, I will sue you to oblivion. Or at least accredit me somewhere. Put my name on the box. Featuring Jerry Baker. I guess a theme of something like you're sending out your troops to go bounty hunting. I think that would be cool. Like out like the Mandalorian, which we're going to talk about episode 2. Aren't we going to talk about episode 2?
Yeah.
Later at the end of the show, after we get done talking about Raiders of Scythia. Let's hard merge into Raiders of Scythia. I'm ready to hard merge into it. We've been talking for a long time about things of ill consequence.
Well, I sure had a bunch of stuff left over, but okay. Did you cover most of the questions?
All the questions.
Okay.
Okay. All the questions. Even the one about fighting ducks and horses. Pretty much. We're good.
All right.
So I want to talk about Raiders of Scythia. Which is currently, it's rated 8.1 on BGG. Its weight is right down the middle at 2.58. It's a 1 to 4 player game designed by none other than Mr. Shim Phillips, who also did the artwork with Sam Phillips.
Shim shiminy, shim shiminy, shim shim shiroo.
Now, Sam also did the artwork for one of our favoriter games, Circadian's First Light, which I really kind of like that artwork. It was different, kind of not retro, but
Cartoony.
had that
Just cartoony.
cartoon. It was cartoony, but yet realistic. You know how sometimes they go for that look? It is a cartoon, but yet it's more serious. Not anime. I don't know what
Yahoo?
you'd call that. Yeah, we'll go for that.
Yahoo serious.
So Raiders of Scythia is a reskin. It is a reskin, in my opinion, of good old Raiders of the North Sea. Now, Raiders of the North Sea, which I believe we've talked about many times on this podcast, is one of Goppy's favorite games. He owns all the expansions. It's a game that I don't particularly like. It's just boring to me. I will say that I find that Raiders is a functional game, and it works. It works. It's just not for me. So it's not that I hate the game. It's not that I think it's a bad game. It's just not it's just not something for me. Raiders of Scythia is the same thing. You're taking your dudes, you're employing these mercenaries, and then you're using them to go out and attack these villages and areas and gain those resources and use those resources to either attack more bigger areas or trade those resources into bigger points. More bigger. Those are my favorite. That's my rapper name. More bigger. Mo better and more bigger. Man, this artwork in this game is really good. Just
brown.
The thing that jumped. It's brown. It's very brown, but it's khaki. You know how I feel about khaki.
You love a khaki.
I love khaki, and the artwork on the people and the various other little. Yeah, I like the artwork in the game. I really do. Go ahead. Tell them what you think. Tell them what you think before I get going.
Raiders of the North Sea, the base game. I enjoyed it very much when I first got it. I was like, this is one of those games that it clicks with you. It's a great gateway type of game, a good easy entry, a Stone Age-ish type of game. It wowed everybody with the mind-blowing aspect of not only do you place a worker, but when you pick a worker up, you also get to do an ability. Yeah, that was kind of cool. I didn't think it was quite as mind-blowing as everybody acted like it was, but yeah, it was pretty cool. Enjoyed the game a lot. Enjoyed the Hall of Heroes expansion. Enjoyed the Valkyrie expansion. I forget what the other one's called. The second one, the third one. It's sitting on the shelf, but I can't see it from here. But the two expansions added to the game, I very much enjoyed them. They added a lot more options for scoring points and fighting and doing this and doing that. Quests, etc. I would not now, and I have it on my phone, an app of Raiders of the North Sea. I tried playing it the other day, and it only has the base game on the app. I can't play it anymore. It's boring to me. It's too basic, because once you go first class, it's hard to go back to coach. First class is mead and the quests, and the other one had Jarls and stuff in it. But Scythia, Raiders of Scythia, basically has taken all of these things that are good from the expansions and the base game, streamlined them into Raiders of Scythia, and it's the best of all the worlds, and you don't need both games. If you have both games, it's redundant. I need to get rid of one. The only reason I really like Raiders of Scythia is because I have the expansions and I have the little fancy play mat that they came out with that I can unroll and lay on the table. It's very nice.
You're talking about Raiders of North Sea.
Yeah, what'd I say?
You said Scythia. Yeah, you said Scythia.
Raiders of North Sea, I have the neoprene. I got all the bells and whistles that ever came out for Raiders of North Sea. But now that Raiders of Scythia is here, and I bought the one that has the metal coin, so, check that box. It has the damage. I mean, you take damage. That's from the Fields of Fame expansion. I just had to freaking look it up. The Fields of Fame, you're fighting the Jarls, and you take damage. When one of your workers takes damage, you put the little blood droplet on him, like he's bleeding. But ever so slightly, just a singular drop of blood is oozing from him. Kumic, fermented mare's milk that the Scythians apparently drank. That's basically the mead. It has the quest from Hall of Heroes. It has all the good things from both expansions. streamlined into this game, but it also does add these horses you can buy that give you extra fighting ability or victory points. It also has these eagles you can buy. You can either choose a horse or an eagle, and the eagle can give you extra fighting points, but it also does some other various things with your abilities. They're kind of just a tacked on thing. Take it or leave it, but it's another.
Would you rather fight a eagle-sized horse or 100 horse-sized eagles?
An eagle-sized horse.
Yeah, no.
An eagle-sized horse. It'd be small. Simply a small horse. You're fighting a Shetland pony.
I've had some bad experiences with Shetland ponies. Sean Connery's favorite horse.
It's actually pronounced Shetland pony. He just never could talk right. This is the main thing that sells Raiders of Scythia completely to me, and I can just get rid of Raiders of the North Sea with expansions, is the solo game.
Really?
The solo game in Scythia was not an afterthought. The solo game to Raiders of the North Sea, even though it is good, I enjoyed a lot. They didn't come out with it till much later, and you had to buy it separately. You had to buy the deck of cards from Garfield Games. Once you got them, you remember those fortune teller like paper games when you was a kid? It was like bam, 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 bam. It was like a fourfold process. You pick one of the four corners, they flip it up. Well, when they sent out the solo game, you unfolded the box and it like unfolded into these four quadrants, and you had to read all these different quadrants to understand the solo game. It wasn't that hard, but for dramatic purposes, I'm going to say it was kind of a pain in the butt. Whereas Raiders of Scythia, the somebody called it a proper term, but it's the tree of the decision tree. It's like, okay, you do this. Okay, if that's there, then you go. It's all on one card. It's all on one card, and you just go down the line. And if you can do this, you do that. If you do this, you do that. If not, then bam, there's your answer. Very solid, very smooth. Love the solo to Raiders of Scythia. I've played it 6 times just in the last few days.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And for all those reasons, Raiders of the North Sea, still a good game, but it's a lot of stuff tacked on that I also don't like. Like, me and Jerry agreed we didn't like the Valkyries killing off my crewmen just because I happened to pick one that had the black head that, not a pimple, but a Valkyrie that would just, you have to kill a crewman. So then you got to go back and hire another crewman and go through that whole process. Whereas this one, you can take damage, but you can get rid of that damage. Or you can just keep fighting with the damage and hope that you don't take too much more and then they don't die. But that's negatable. I like that. I like the getting rid of the Valkyrie.
So to my thoughts on Raiders of Scythia, I hadn't played the solo, of course, but I'm pleased to hear that's good. You touched on one of the things that irritated me the most about Raiders was that track with the Valkyrie, which is thematic, which you're gaining points for your Vikings basically sacrificing themselves in combat. In Raiders of Scythia, it really feels like you're putting together this motley crew of raiders that have very powerful bonuses that incentivize you to do certain things. And so I remember, and just very quickly, just to kind of go over our kind of review of it, the rules of the game were very simple to learn because you taught me the game basically by saying, hey, this is Raiders, but this symbol means this and this symbol means that. I'm like, oh, okay. And by the way, you can buy horses and eagles and you go here and you do that. And I mean, it was quick to learn. So the rules must have been, I didn't see the rule book.
Yeah, but if you've played North Sea, you can play
I'm dancing around saying that if you could teach it and you learn it, it must be easy without insulting you. But I'll just go out and say, if Gabi learned it, it must be that easy. Right?
But it's North Sea. That's what I'm saying. If you've played North Sea, you can play this game in 5 minutes easy. Or learn to play it.
So it has a little bit more, too, than just the base game of North Sea, because the base game of North Sea, which, for all craziness, is rated 2.5 as well on BGG. North Sea, the base game, was very simple and much lighter than that, in my opinion. Raiders of Scythia's rating of a 2.5 seems to me to be more legitimate. This game is right down the middle, simple to learn. The only issues that I had, and I cover this with the component quality of it, is the artwork to me is better, but the user interface, the symbols and the board is it's a little more cluttered. And so for somebody who can't quite focus on small symbols and things of that nature, you start off at the top of the board and work your way down, whereas in Raiders, you start at the bottom and you work your way up. So all your worker placement is taking place at the very top of the board. That's very irritating
that was
to me.
kind of and we discussed this on our previous podcast. I think I lose track of what we talked about.
Yeah, you mentioned that, and I don't like that. I wish it was down closer to me so I could see what's going on. That was a bad choice.
I prefer a board that spans left to right as opposed to north
up and
to
down.
south.
I don't mind the north to south thing if all my actions are taking place close to home. Whereas I start at the top and I work my way down. I did not like that. That was a bad choice for them. They could simply have flipped that and it would have had the same effect. So there's that. So components wise, did those metal coins come with the game? The Kickstarter version?
They came. I don't remember. I pre-ordered this from Garfield. I don't remember if I paid extra for it or not. But
so basically, metal coins is the most overrated component. Yeah, it's the most overrated component in board gaming. Buy one good set of metal coins that are generic and just keep them for all the games. But still, the other components in the game were very fine and worked just great.
I did not like the provisions. The provisions in Raiders of the North Sea look like the provisions on the board. The provisions in Scythia looks like a basket of flowers on the board, but the actual component is just a round ball, pretty much. Not the same, and I didn't like that. But other than that.
So the decisions in the game, I felt like for a medium weight game, it was fine. Nothing was very taxing. I knew where I was going to go. I knew what I was going to do. The decisions that came that were interesting to me was which cards were I going to play, basically which mercenaries were I'm going to hire that were going to give me these powers, but also now am I going to go out and spend a little extra time getting a eagle, which will buff them a little bit, or get them a horse, which will add to their attack value. That was somewhat interesting, and it was nice having this feel of I have employed these mercenaries, and they were with me the entirety of the game. None of my guys died. I kept them alive because I liked what I had. I really like that. I think that the same thing that bugs me in Raiders bugs me in this game. It's that those quests or those, the Jarl things, the satisfying the Jarl in Raiders of the... That sounded weird. Satisfy the Jarl. In Raiders, where you basically turn in resources for victory points, that can be abused in Raiders, and you can abuse the quests in this game as well. But everybody has to know that that's kind of where you're going to score a lot of points. You need to go attack places, and then when those quests show up, go out and get them done.
Yeah, I mean, I think somebody said it in something else I read. It's like, it's called Raiders of whatever. So the way to win the game is to go out and raid as soon as possible. One of my things I tend to do in both of these games, I don't know why, because I lose doing this every single time, but I'm like, I'm going to gather up all I can first. Meanwhile, Jerry or Mike, whoever I'm playing, is going out and raiding, because they raided little small spots that are like worth, in the beginning of the game, they're worth 1 point. I'm like, that's not worth it. But when they raid that, they're getting all these, the gold, the wagons, all this stuff that you need to get the quests. But I'm like saving up all my stuff. I'm going to go big, and then I lose. So don't do that. But there is that option. It's like sometimes you feel like, okay, I can go to the village repeatedly and build up everything that would allow me to make maybe 2 or 3 raids without having to go back to the village. But meanwhile, usually while you're doing that, if the opponent is smart, they're like raiding as soon as they're able to. And I think that's the way to go in this game.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, that's the way to go. And
that's about the extent of the decision tree.
Yeah. The enjoyment of this game, for me, it comes from... It's very quick to make decisions in this game. It's very quick and satisfying to go out and do a raid. There's not that many hard decisions in the game.
It's more of a race, really.
It's a racing game. It's I'm going here, I'm doing this, I'm getting this stuff. Okay, I got to pull the trigger, and it feels more of a race game rather than a Euro game where you're vying for spot and position and turn order.
Yeah. I did want to say when I discovered something in the solo that almost completely royally messed me over in my victory. I somehow pulled out with a victory, but okay. So as you go down the board, you progressively get these workers that are stronger in their ability to raid, because you can only raid with certain characters as you go down the board. And Crimea, or whatever that one's called, then Assyria, Persia, then Greece. You can only raid Greece with red workers. The solo bot, the Shim bot, which I call AA Ron from Castles of Burgundy, the card game, he had wiped out all but one of the red workers, and I didn't even notice. So, by sheer luck, there was a red worker left that would enable me to go down to Greece and continue my raiding. Had he gotten rid of that last one too, I couldn't have even went down to Greece. Like, the game would have been over for me, and the bot would have just wiped everything out. And that's just something I realized in this game that I never came across in Raiders of the North Sea. I don't know if it's because I didn't play that solo enough or what, but in this game it's like you have to get one of those red workers before the robot wipes them all out, or else you're screwed, which was kind of interesting and fun. I was like, oh my God, I almost really got messed up. So
right, it really makes you stay on your toes in terms of watching what the bot does, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, so my thing is I thought the base game of Raiders was dull, and with all the expansions, I don't like expansions. I'm obviously going to suggest that you buy Raiders of Scythia over Raiders of the North Sea. In my opinion, if you have North Sea, there's no need to buy Scythia. They're the same game. They've just been reskinned. Do I think that Raiders of Scythia is the more refined?
I mean, you have to clarify
version?
with expansions.
Right, with expansions, yeah. So, obviously Raiders of Scythia is a better game.
Yes.
I think it's a much better game. It tends to be a tighter game. There is some issue that I have with the components and the layout of the board that I wish would have been fixed. But other than that, this is a reskin of Raiders of the North Sea. I liked it better than them. I mean, it's still not a game that I'm raving about, but it's a good game. It's right down the middle for me. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'll play it every time Gobby has it set up. And I enjoy it more than Raiders, obviously.
I do as well. There's only one thing. There's one thing missing from this game that I would have ported over from Fields of Fame, and that is, in Fields of Fame, you could basically have overwhelming forces in one of your attacks. Like, say your strength was 50 and you were attacking something that only, maxed out at 30. Well, you just had 20 points go to waste. Well, Fields of Fame awarded you points for that overwhelming force. I kind of wish they had ported that over to Scythia. So it's like, okay, if I attack you with this amount of strength over what's required, I feel like I should get some bonus points for that. But
I don't like that, because in Scythia, I didn't notice that anybody was able to achieve any overwhelming attacks. I noticed that it was a much tighter game, and so I suspect that's why they left it out.
Perhaps so.
Like I never had an issue in Raiders of the North Sea of getting enough guys to go attack something, whereas in Scythia, it always felt like I was stretching, getting horses and getting stuff, and then barely making and that's why it's a much tighter game, and that's why I enjoy it a little bit more than I did Raiders. So,
okay.
Anyways, Scythia gets the nod for me. It's a decent game. It's functional. It's not one that I'm raving about. I would say that obviously if you're on the fence about buying a Shim Phillips game, I really like Circadians, but it's a dice placement game.
That's not Shim either.
No, it's a Garfield Games, but it's McDonald that did that one. But I really like. I think Raiders of Scythia might be my favorite of his, to be honest. I think it is. It is my favorite of his. So there you go.
It's official.
It's official. Like the artwork.
Agreed. I too. I have all of the Raiders, and this just is, it's like, I don't have to break out all this other crap to play it. I can just play this one game.
Right. Good job on the artwork. I'm pleased to hear that the solo was good. Nothing. It warms the cockles of my heart to hear that the game has a good solo.
Cockles are warmed.
Solo makes me think of Hans, which makes me think of Star Wars, which makes me think of the Mandalorian, which I want to talk about.
Oh, okay.
I'm really liking the. What?
I gotta pee. So.
Oh, you go. Leave it. I'll keep talking.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Go urinate. Urination. I really like the fact that we're doing this thing now where we're recording on Saturday night after we have just watched The Mandalorian so that we can then talk about it. We're not trying to get ahead and just put out episodes. Sometimes in the past we would record multiple episodes at one time so that we'd have a few banked in case something happened, but now we're just flying by the seat of our pants. I really like that. And I really am liking The Mandalorian too. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Baby Yoda is about the best thing that happened in Star Wars. And also, the rumors that they have that they're making a Boba Fett spinoff. I know Gobby does not like Boba Fett. I don't know how I feel about that, though. I don't know if I feel like they should be doing a Boba Fett spinoff. I feel like it'd be too samey if they make it just like The Mandalorian. And I don't want that. I don't want a spinoff of The Mandalorian. I just want more Mandalorian. And then perhaps with this Obi-Wan Kenobi series, it kind of maybe being a little bit more serious and darker and stuck to a story rather than so episodic like The Mandalorian. That's really what I'm looking forward to. But I don't know. I've never been a big fan of spinoffs. Frasier. Frasier was a decent spinoff from Cheers. That was a good spinoff. The Jeffersons. Jeffersons was good. I like the Jeffersons. I was very scared that they were going to do a spinoff of The Office where they were getting Dwight Schrute lined out to do Schrute Farms. Man, by the time The Office has run its course, I had enough of Dwight Schrute. That show was 2 seasons long. The last thing I want to see is more Dwight Schrute. I'm glad they didn't do a spinoff of any of the Office characters. Parks and Recreation wasn't so much a spinoff. It was just kind of a similar show in a similar vein. And I enjoyed it too. I just don't know. Parks or The Office? I like The Office better. Although I do like Nick Offerman. I like him a lot in Parks and Rec. I did not like the main character in Parks and Rec. Is it Amy Poehler? I didn't really like her character that much. I found her annoying and not as endearing as Michael Scott. But I found like the other characters in Parks and Recreation to be much better side characters than the ones in The Office. I mean, Pam and Jim were great. I mean, but that's a love story. That's different. But like the other characters in The Office, besides Dwight, you got Andy, which was annoying, and but the only one I really liked was Oscar out of accounting. I thought he was a good character.
And we're back.
And yeah. So between The Office and Parks and Rec, go. Which one you like the best?
Office, clearly. Up until season 7.
Yes. I would say The Office. I would say Office till season 6. The season after Michael Scott leaves. That's the best Office. And
well,
I'd say that Parks and Rec from season 2 onward.
Yes, agreed. I really came into Parks and Rec thinking, oh my God, this is such an Office wannabe. And season 1 was pretty rough, but season 2 onward, they really come into their own. The Office, upon second watch, and I'm on the last season, episode 4, Michael leaves during season 7. Then season 8 is when Robert California, James Spader comes on. The worst season of all time is season 7, when Michael is still on. His character becomes kind of unlikable. He starts dating that woman from the club. Jim becomes co-manager, and he loses his sense of humor. I guess the writers just thought he wasn't Jim anymore. Really bad. Really, really bad season. The beginning of season 8, really funny. Robert California is freaking hilarious. James Spader being crazy. I mean, it's just It was hilarious. The end kind of peters off, and season 9, it's pretty rough. Yeah, it's bad.
Got rough. So, The Mandalorian, second episode of season 2. What are your thoughts on that one?
Okay, here's my thoughts.
Go large.
There are people, and I understand. I can understand this. They're like, it doesn't further the story. Where's the story? Got to have story. What happened to just enjoying TV shows? Just sitting back, having fun. This was Star Wars : arachnophobia. I was freaked out. Those spiders, those ice spiders were amazing, creepy. They were running. It was exciting. It was almost kind of like a horror episode, minus the extreme. The director for this, Peyton Reed, was also the director for Ant-Man and Ant-Man the Wasp. So lots of humor, kind of childish humor involving the child eating the eggs. Was it silly? Yes. Was it done? Was it kind of weird that he's eating the babies of this frog lady? Yeah, it's kind of weird, but it's so adorable. You don't care. Frog lady. She breaks out doing her frog hop there at the end. I was into it, man. I mean, this is dumb. It doesn't do anything for the overall arcing story of finding little baby Yoda's parents or whoever the frack they're doing. But it was just a fun episode, and I was all about it. We like to have fun here. I had fun this episode.
This was probably one of my favorite episodes, if not my most favorite episode so far. So to begin with, and I have to start
Frog Lady, adorable.
I have to start in chronological order of it, but this episode started and I thought, okay, we're going to have Boba Fett in this. They're going to shoehorn Boba Fett, and completely subverted that expectation. They're doing exactly what I want them to do, which is don't bring Boba Fett into this. If you're going, there are talks of a spinoff. I don't care about that. Push that to the side. Don't let Boba Fett overtake the story, and just have this neat scene with him riding the speeder, getting ambushed, and then fighting those guys. And if you didn't laugh out loud when he shot that rocket pack with that one dude on it up in the air, that was hilarious. So when that happened,
you knew it was coming. You knew it was coming.
That was a great scene. What was so disturbing? I let my kids watch. So I watch. I have this routine now that Friday morning, when the Mandalorian gets released 4:00 in the morning where I'm at, I get up early. I make me a cup of coffee and I watch it by myself. And then later in the weekend, I'll watch it with the kids. The kids just laughed and laughed as that poor little Jawa looking guy come falling from the sky, and it warmed the cockles of my heart, going, yes, that was funny. Then the frog lady. Why am I enthused about this frog lady?
Because she's adorable.
Why? Tell me why. I want to know why I like the frog lady.
Don't forget Ant-Man. The literal Ant-Man, they're just taking random insects and creatures.
The Peyton Reed guy directed Ant-Man, so that was his thing. That's why he did that. Okay. So that was that was a neat callback.
Hey, do you know what kind of shoes Frog Lady wore? Open-toed.
I'm on the fence about that one. That was good. I'll give you there. I'm not going to rib you for it. So the episode of him getting the part where he's getting pulled over by the X-wing.
She's really into hip hop.
And that chase, of it, that was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. Just the visuals of that. I thought that was awesome.
They've really amped up the money, aka visual effects, in this episode.
Oh, that was $50 million right there. They blew all their money on that, and then the spiders, and the whole thing. I was
blown away. I don't know if I was feeling some type of way when I was watching this show, but them running from the spiders and the look and visual effects of the spiders was so amazing to me. I want a whole show of somebody fighting their way off this planet of spiders. Give me that movie.
I was sitting there thinking, okay, they're in the ice cave. It's going to be that big white-looking Wampa bear thing with one arm that Luke, like on Hoth. I thought that's what he's going to find. He's going to be fighting, and that'll be a callback. That's what I was expecting. I am so glad that they completely just went around that and said, no, we're going to come up with something new and original. What is everybody afraid of? Spiders. Let's do some sort of ice spider.
New
thing.
and original.
And I was disturbed by Baby Yoda. I'm not even going to address that. By Baby Yoda eating the eggs. That just completely got me. That was so
eating
wrong.
the larva, eating this woman's ovaries. Basically, I don't know.
Yes,
it's weird.
Yes, it's like, what is he doing? That's her child. That's
so
the last of her line.
He does it. And she was so fond of them, and like, I don't know. It hit on such weird emotions the way that, she was, these eggs are her life, they're her babies. But then little baby Yoda, the child, is eating them, and that's adorable too, and funny and disturbing all at once.
The last scene in the show where the Mandalorian goes to sleep in the cockpit, and Baby Yoda looks back at her, and she's hugging that canister of her eggs, and then he just looks forward and then pops another one in his mouth, sucks it in. It just cracks me up. There's something. We saw more Baby Yoda in this episode than we have everything else, like him babbling and walking and doing stuff. And just the interactions between him. This show has shown that. I've seen a lot.
This show,
I've heard
Star Warts.
Yeah, shh. Stop. You're killing me. You're gonna make me croak. Oh God. That I've heard a lot of people say, like, the main storyline of getting Baby Yoda back to whomever, they're griping about the fact that we're just watching episodic one-off adventures. To me, that is the enjoyment of the show, and it feels like this video game RPG where, yeah, you have the main quest, but we're going to spend 60 hours doing side quests before, and the main story is not that interesting. I mean, I'm sure there's some reveal or something that will take place at the end, the conclusion of the show, where with Baby Yoda or something like that. But it's the adventure, it's the journey, not the destination.
Exactly like that. I mean, that's a cliche saying, but everybody says it. It's like, it's not the destination; it's the journey along the way. Okay, so he delivers Baby Yoda. Then what? Then what are we gonna do? What's next? It's like, what will make you happy? For me, it's all the adventures on the way and all the characters he meets and the world that gets developed around Star Warts that we never knew existed. Frog people, ant people, I've never seen them before. Giant ice spiders, amazing.
If you'll remember, like last year when we were talking about it during one of our pod snaps, I said, like, I figured that Baby Yoda would just be like a gimmick. Like, he'll drop him off at the end of the first season or something, and then he'll go on to we'll move on to the real thing that the Mandalorian is supposed to be about. Like, each season, it's a new thing. I am so glad that has not been the case. I am so glad that it has just been each episode, they're allowing the writer and the directors to go, okay, be creative. Give the people Star Wars, but put a twist on it. And so each episode, we're watching things that we have seen in the past from Star Wars. We're getting these callbacks. We've seen speeder bikes. We've seen speeder bikes wreck. But we've not seen, like, him fight these people and the jetpack thing. And, Baby Yoda is super cute, and frog people. And we're just seeing stuff that exists in the Star Wars universe, but we're seeing it presented in a way that's very entertaining. And it's very slow. Like, we're moving the story along very slow because the story is not important. That is the backdrop, the adventure and the connection between the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda. That is the story. That will be what we will see. And I don't care if it's that way for 4 more seasons. I'm down for it. I am absolutely down for it.
I thought this episode was totally cool.
It is. Yes, it's.
I hope her and her husband are in a Kermited relationship.
You're just looking up frog terms now.
What? Never. I would never just Google frog puns.
Frog puns?
No, I would never do that. A friend of mine said, he texted me, he's like, so this is like the worst episode ever, right? And I completely did this. I was like, no, this is one of the best ever. Like,
Who said that?
Ruben.
Oh, Ruben can just choke
I was
on
like,
it.
ice spiders,
I hope he croaks.
frog people, Baby Yoda eating the eggs of the frog people. I'm in all the way.
I was too. And I don't know. I think this show has this. Here's the thing.
We'll get to the whole baby. I'm sure season finale, they'll wrap up Baby Yoda's thing in 2 episodes.
Well, I want you to do me. I want to say 2 things. One, as soon as this episode is over, I want you to go back and listen to our previous episode where you said, and I quote, "I'm done. They need to move the story along. Let's get to the end of the story." And you completely were saying everything.
You did the
opposite than
same
what
thing. You did the same thing.
No, I did not.
Yes,
I did
you
not.
did.
How dare you? How dare you? I don't remember saying that
several
at all.
episodes where you're like, I hope they just stick to what Baby Yoda's about.
Never mind. I didn't say that. You die. If only there was a way to go back and listen to previous episodes.
Nope, can't do it.
No, I won't. I won't do it. Can't stop, won't stop.
I'm able to look at myself and say, you know what? I was wrong.
I'm not able to admit
I know
that,
you're not able to do that.
I'm not there. I can admit that you're wrong.
Of course you can.
Is that okay? Is that okay?
I want to speak to something else. This has been on my chest. This has nothing to do with anything, but it goes back to me as a personal shopper, completely unrelated, but also about people having patience. And you just say, which means you're not really invested. But I'm going to tell you anyway.
Tell me.
People are impatient, Jerry. Do you know this?
Wouldn't imagine.
Never would have thought it. It's mind-boggling, especially when you are at a grocery store, just how impatient people are. You're at a grocery store. Hey, guess what? Some people don't have grocery stores. Some people either have to grow the groceries themselves, or they just don't get anything.
They have to grow their own toilet paper.
Grow it from the leaves of the tree. So you're in a fortunate situation to have a grocery store, sir or ma'am. So don't get all bent out of shape when you can't get down the aisle in 0.3 seconds that you wish to. So as a personal shopper, I pick the items up and I have to put them in the totes. That's what they call these big blue baskets that we carry with us in our little special shopping cart. I'm able to carry 8 totes to a shopping cart. So I can shop for up to 8 different people at a time, but oftentimes, it's a couple of the same totes for people. That's neither here nor there. Really doesn't matter. Irrelevant to the story. So this is what gets me. I saw a meme recently that Jason Dinger had posted. It was so accurate. It was from the, what's the Jessica Jones Netflix show? Who's the man? The 10th Doctor? David Tennant. He's in it. David Tennant is in it to win it. And it says something to the...
Congratulations to Jason Dinger on his successful Kickstarter for Captains of the Coast and Crescent City Cargo. I'm looking forward to playing that. Continue.
Me too. So the meme is Jessica Jones and like David Tennant is just like right beside her, just staring at her. But the meme says, she trying to put the change back in my billfold at the register, and then he's like staring at her like super close, and it's like next person in line. So like this person's just breathing down your neck because you're like taking 2 seconds to put your change in your pocket. And I feel that. So as I'm personal shopping, I put the items in my tote, and I pick them up from the aisle and I put them there. And when I do that, I have to get in the aisle. I have to get in the way of some people. So I was bent over putting it a pack of Coke, a 12-pack of Coca-Cola into the bottom tote of my little carry-on thing. And this dude just walks right up on me, like his crotch in my face, just sat there, because I'm blocking the aisle. But I'm like, give me 5 seconds, bro. Let me put this in here in just a few seconds. Can you please step back 6 feet? Social distancing, non-existent. People don't care. Non-mask wearing. mouth breathing. Oh my God. I was so angry. Like, I was so angry. So guess what I did? I took even longer. I had stuck that 12-pack in there seconds ago, but I was taking my time on getting back up and getting out of his way. And as he walked by, he didn't look at me, and I glared at the back of his head.
Oh, that'll teach him. That got him. That's a good passive aggressiveness right there.
Oh my
Go ahead and
God,
stare
I
at
was
it.
so angry. He had to have felt my eyeballs in the back of his head because I glared him down. I'm like, just give me a second, man. Like, are you that hurry to get to the Nestle water 12-pack of water that you're grabbing? Like, is it that a life and death that you couldn't wait for me to stick this 12-pack of soda in my tote? That you had
Quick
to
question.
put your crotch in my face, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe you're taking this long. Calm
Quick question.
down.
Quick
Calm
question.
down.
You keep saying crotch.
my-
Do you
'Cause
know
it was
the
there,
people?
right in my
Do you
face?
know Do you know the people that you're shopping for? Like, do you see the name? Do you like look at?
You see the first letter initial, and then you see like the first like 4 letters of the last name.
Okay, so
But
like
you
you
don't
don't,
see
know who you're shopping.
So like you would be like J Bake.
So you don't know. So okay. So like if I could not put in like a personal shopper order and you see my name and know you're shopping for me.
Not particularly. I mean, I might think J Bake. Hey, I wonder if that's Jerry, but I wouldn't know for sure. There might be a Johnny Bakeroid out there somewhere.
Yeah. Notice the copious amounts of hair conditioner and things of that nature, lotions, and I'm shopping for Jerry. Viagra. Yeah, go ahead. Hey,
Extends.
Hey, expense. Hey, you don't embarrass me to make. What is? Yeah. Oh yeah. You got them Walmart oysters. That's a. You know,
hey,
you're
we
in
got
for a
them,
good
baby. We
the
got
Equate
shrimp,
brand.
We got catfish.
Equate brand chicken of the sea oyster brand. The wife comes home and you're peeling that can open. You know it's about to be a good time.
With your feet,
honey, please. Yes, with my feet, honey. Would you like to try one of these oysters? I've got some Equate brand coffee brewing.
It's great value.
Great
it's not
value.
Everything's Equate. Equate only applies in the pharmacy section. Other than that, it's great value.
You want some of these great value oysters? Hey, baby. Let you come on back to my place. We'll have us some great value crackers. They're just like Ritz. Buttery. Okay, that's enough. I'm done. I'm done. And so Mandalorian second episode, awesome. We love it.
If you love arachnophobia, you'll love season 2, episode 2.
I loved arachnophobia because I like Jeff Daniels and I love Dan
Houston.
Dan Connor. Dan Connor. John Goodman. It's Dan Connor. That's how I know him.
I was actually sitting here. I was like, I wonder if Sade has seen Arachnophobia, because that's not a movie I have revisited in some time. It's about time.
Stupid premise. Such a stupid premise,
but
executed
for me,
well.
it's the practical effects of that movie that just creep me out, and that's what I like about Mandalorian too. Like the frog lady's a practical effect, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm in, baby.
Okay, it's good that you're in. Good that you're in, and I'm glad that you got this 20-minute rant about people not being patient as you shot for them out of the way. I'm sure that was riveting.
Your crotch out of my face, bro.
For our listeners, but still, this is what this podcast is for you to air out your grievances.
We extort patience. What can I say?
Do we need to do the chant again?
Yes.
All right. Wall.
Give me a board.
Game.
I'm bored of life.
I did it wrong. I'm sorry. We're doing it live.
Game. Oh,
yes.
My father didn't love me.
Oh, God. This is, follow us on Twitter. No, don't follow us on
Or
Twitter.
don't.
Come to our Facebook. Follow us on our Facebook
Our
group.
Facebook group is where it's at. We barely tweet.
Our Facebook group is lit.
if you want to talk to us personally, come to Facebook group.
Join our OnlyFans. Our fans only.
I don't know why that cracked me up. A, it's not existent. B, I can only imagine if it was.
I'm going to start a fans only where it's just a video of me unboxing board games with my feet. If Mike DeLisio doesn't quit emailing me asking me for pictures of my toes, I'm gonna send a cease and desist order to Tom and say, look, you got to get this guy. You got to stop him. He's obsessed.
Speaking of open-toed shoes, Mike DeLisio.
That's why he moved to Florida.
So he could wear them all the time.
He wasn't getting any toe action up there in Illinois.
He's like, I can't wear my thongs up here.
Everybody knows that Florida's where all the good toe action's at. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? If you want to see some cuticles. Anyways. Okay. I'm done. I'm hanging up.
We better go.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.